Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is a man who, he's just in a very interesting situation, okay? Keith Thurman is a guy that top welterweights don't want to fight. Up-and-coming welterweights want to fight. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're trying to sort things out, okay? And more than likely, the way it's looking, now that Errol Spence has come out and said that they're actually in talks, him and Terrence Crawford. Talks are ongoing, and that Al Heyman said he wants to fight. So I did a video on it. Al Heyman says he wants to fight. The fight's going to happen. It seems like they tried to sort out the money piece, but Stephen Espinoza recently came out and said, as long as everybody's realistic about the money, of course, this is not Pacquiao Mayweather where we're talking about over 4 million pay-per-view sales. So as long as they're realistic about the money, the fight can happen. So that tells me that they're sorting out the financial piece. There's no other roadblocks. And I don't know if Crawford's going to sign the PBC or not, but I can't see him not becoming part of that stable. But anyway, it looks like Spence and Crawford could be tied up fighting each other. So then that leaves a guy like Jeron Ennis looking for a fight. That leaves Conor Benn looking for a fight. Virgil Ortiz, not sure what he's doing, looking for a fight. And then you have Keith Thurman. Now, the thing about Keith Thurman, the two top dogs right now who are still active is Terrence Crawford. It's Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Danny Garcia, who knows what's going on with Danny Garcia? But it sounds like he's trying to get to 154. He doesn't want to kill himself to get to 147 anymore. Okay? So it's Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They're out of there. After that, the next top dog, because Danny Garcia, no one knows what's going on with him, is Keith Thurman. So you got Crawford and Spence up top, Thurman below. And then you have guys like Ennis and Conor Benn, who are just making their way up. Actually, they're up there now. And they're all kind of peers at this point. And with Keith Thurman, he is becoming the gatekeeper. Keith Thurman is not going to get the big shot that he wants. Keith Thurman has gone on, the last time he posted something on Twitter, right? And he says, I definitely want to get in there with a champion. But if I have to stay competitive, and that's what we need to understand what he's saying. If I have to stay competitive and fight someone in the ranks in the months to come, so be it. Now, there are people in the ranks. Stanley Unis. They got some big names out there. Guys who are getting huge wins. Guys who are getting in line, becoming mandatories. Keith Thurman goes on to say, I'm going to stay busy, but my desire is to make the biggest fights in the welterweight division one time. So this is the thing, right? Keith Thurman, he wants to make the biggest fights, but his name isn't all that big anymore. It's still a big name, but it's nowhere near what it was. It doesn't carry that weight. Keith Thurman is becoming a gatekeeper. So if he's going to stay competitive and fight someone in the ranks, the thing is, there's two guys who are chomping at the bit. It's Ennis and there's Conor Benn. So which one should Keith Thurman fight? I do not think Keith Thurman will get in there with Jeron Ennis. No way. Conor Benn, I think Keith Thurman stands a very good chance to beat Conor Benn. But Conor Benn is ferocious, man. Conor Benn comes in there and he does not play around. Conor Benn could give Keith Thurman a huge problem, and Conor Benn could definitely get the biggest name on his resume so far if he clips Keith Thurman. But, we'll see, what Keith Thurman is going to do because, he says he wants to be active, but this guy is just kind of sitting around and there's not much activity coming out of Keith Thurman. So he's going to have to sort it out real quick. But that's the latest and greatest I have on Keith Thurman, man. I do hate the fact that he's not going to get a chance at another title. Because I think if he fights another one of these top contenders, he's going to have to pick somebody who's an easy killer. He's going to have to cherry pick. Because for him to get in there with his inactivity, and he can still fight. Keith Thurman can still fight. But coming in there against a pit bull like, what's his name? Conor Ben, a killer like Ennis, a monster like Stanley Eunice. You know, you can't just totally count Keith Thurman out, but you got to say he has more or less like an uphill battle ahead of him. And that's how I'm going to call it. Keith Thurman has an uphill battle against him. He needs to cherry pick the right opponent to stay relevant. But I think he just lost too many years, man. Too many years. He's doing a beautiful thing getting married, but I just think he lost too many years. And you're going to start seeing him ducking fights where he says, don't duck me, son. Well, now son's about to duck people. And I think that's smart for him to do. But then again, he may prove me wrong. He's never been a guy to be, afraid of a challenge. But you look at what Boots is doing to people. I mean, his team would probably, discourage him from taking that fight. A guy like Conor Ben, could be more realistic, probably a winnable fight. But him getting a shot at those titles is out of there. So don't know what's going to happen with him. I guess now that we see they're getting some momentum on Spence and Crawford, Keith Thurman will probably come up with an announcement against an opponent. I'm sure they're having those talks right now because he's not going to get what he wants. But it may be the end of the road for Keith Thurman, man. And that was my favorite fighter. He really was, man. But it just too much time off, too much activity, man. Too much inactivity. He's not the same. And it's sad to see what's happening with this man in his career. But, he made a lot of money. He's happy. Got a beautiful family. That's what's the most important. But more to come on Keith Thurman, man. We'll see what happens. But, we can sit here and have these discussions and then 60 days from now, you'll find out that Crawford and Spence couldn't get beyond the purse split or Showtime can't give them the money they want. Now, all of a sudden, Crawford and Thurman are fighting again because Crawford's not fighting Ennis. And nobody's fighting Conor Ben. But Thurman, I'm telling you, man, Thurman is a guy who's going to get a fight. And he could end up somehow getting in there with Crawford if Spencer Crawford, but he could end up getting out there with Ben or Stanley Eunice or Ennis. Thurman is the one person out of all of them who I know for a fact, if he chooses to, can announce a fight next week, probably tomorrow if he wanted, because there's that many people out there who want to fight him, and he's available, and he's a big name, and he can draw and he can put butts in seats. So Keith Thurman's in a good position, but doesn't mean he's going to win the fight. But he's in a good position to get a decent fight, if not a big fight if something happens between Crawford and Spence. But anyway, man, I'm out of here. Thanks for the support. Y'all keep safe. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. More to come from Keith Thurman, but looks like they're starting to kind of sit him to the side. But it is what it is. You guys keep safe. I'm in the break.